What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here. And insane news coming to my Discord today in the ASIC chat. Dr. Doom posted here Mara dumps 1.1 billion in Bitcoin to cut debt by 30%. That's pretty insane. Let's take a look at what's going on. So here is that article from Bitcoin Magazine. It does say Marathon dumps 1.1 billion in Bitcoin to repurchase convertible notes, cuts debt by 30%. So Mara Holdings said they sold. Okay, pretty much the same thing here. Let's take a look at the write-up. And when they did this, did they time the market right? Probably not. So are you looking for ASIC miners but just not sure who to trust? From most popular brands to best sellers to miners of the week and even deals of the moment, ASIC Mining Central has you covered to the cheapest prices out of any ASIC website, as well as import fees will be low with low tax with DDP or invoice, and code RABID will grant you an additional $50 off your order. Head on over to ASIC Mining Central today for all your ASIC mining needs. Links down in the description. Now back to our regular scheduled program. Mara, a NASDAQ listed Bitcoin miner, expanded into digital energy and AI infrastructure, announced a major balance sheet restructuring on Thursday. The company said they sold 15,133 Bitcoin. You know, we're trying to get one Bitcoin here. They are just dumping a little over 15,000 like it's nothing. Anyway, continuing on, for approximately $1.1 billion between March 4th and March 25th. Let's take a look quickly when that is. So March of this year here, if we come into here, that's recently, like right now, in the past week. That was 2 days ago. So March 24th. Let's just see, right? So right in this area here is when they dished it. So some of this maybe and stuff. But obviously they sold at the wrong time. Like, come on, guys, look at this. Crypto cycles. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that every 4 years is when it peaks. So, you know, they would have been a lot better off selling in October, like where most people did, because that's when it really started to dip. But, you know, this is when they should have sold, not right now. So, you know, ultimately they lost, you know, they could have sold half those coins and made out with the same amount of money. But again, who's here to point any fingers? I guess I just did. Continuing on. So that was in between March 4th and 25th. Now, this was to fund the repurchase of its 0.00% convertible senior notes due 2030 and 2031. So 0%. They got 0% financing on all this stuff. Hey, you know, if you're rich, you don't have to pay taxes or interest and stuff like that. Anyway, the company will repurchase 367.5 million of its 2030 notes for 322.9 million and 633.4 million of its 2031 notes for 589.9 million. So, you know, a decent amount of money gets thrown around here. The purchases represent an approximate 9% discount to par value and are expected to generate roughly 88.1 million in cash savings. The transactions are scheduled to close on March 30th and 31st, pending customary conditions. Following the repurchases, Mara's outstanding convertible debt will be declined by about 30%, reducing total convertible notes from roughly 3.3 billion to 2.3 billion. So a nice drop in terms of their debts here, obviously. The move also limits potential future shareholders' dilution tied to the notes conversion feature after the repurchases. 632.5 million of 2030 notes and 291.6 million of 2031 notes will remain outstanding. The company has made it clear they are pivoting towards artificial intelligence and high performance computing. So we did a video on this. I think it was this morning it released. Let me just jump in the Discord here. Come down into Rabid's videos, and here we can see right here, breaking the secret behind Bitcoin's return to home mining. Hash rate is dropping. Most of the large mining farms, if not all of them, eventually are transitioning into AI because it's making more money and they're just losing money when it comes to Bitcoin mining now. And it's going to get worse as future halvings do take place. So, this move over to AI is obviously like everything else. Mine what's most profitable, buy what you want to hodl in. In this case, they might not even be in Bitcoin anymore at all for all we know, because they'll just buy and, use up money that they're using for AI for more AI infrastructure and not even buy Bitcoin anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how things play up moving into the future. So then it says shares of Mara were up 6% and pre-market trading following the announcement. And that announcement was, they sold all this, but I think the big thing is their move into AI. So I want to point out one more thing that's pretty funny. Do you guys remember a few years back before the AI boom, everyone was talking about how much power Bitcoin was using? Oh, Bitcoin uses too much power. Don't mind Bitcoin. Bitcoin's bad, draining the power grid. Now it comes along AI, and all these major companies are involved with this AI, and now nobody is talking about how much power AI uses. No one's really even talking about how much power Bitcoin uses anymore, because AI is actually using a considerable amount more power than Bitcoin mining. But it's hilarious. As soon as we have all these large companies and stuff getting involved in AI, there's no word about it. But everyone is so harsh on Bitcoin mining. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments section. Anyway, Mara CEO selling Bitcoin strengthens our balance sheet. So CEO Fred Tsai described the transactions as part of a broader capital allocation strategy. Our decision to sell a portion of our Bitcoin holdings reflects a strategic move designed to strengthen our balance sheet and position the company for long-term growth, he said. He added that the repurchases preserve shareholder value and provide the company with greater financial flexibility as it expands beyond Bitcoin mining into digital energy and AI HPC infrastructure. So it's going to be mostly this probably long term. I think we're going to see a lot less Bitcoin mining and a lot more of this AI stuff, at least until the bubble pops. And then who knows? It's going to be pretty rough for even all of these guys out there. The company intends to use the remaining proceeds from the Bitcoin sales to support general corporate purposes. Mara's current Bitcoin holdings now total 38,689 Bitcoin, down from 53,822 BTC at the end of February. At current market prices, the holdings are valued at approximately $2.7 billion. The update places Mara behind only 21 capital. The update places Mara behind only 21 capital in terms of corporate Bitcoin holdings. Mara's capital structure prior to the transactions include $1 billion in 2030 notes. Okay, we pretty much went through all that stuff previously. And, here Mara develops technologies that harness excess energy to power high-performance computing. Excess energy. They're harnessing excess energy. Power that's not being used. That's hilarious how they're saying that. They're not putting any demand on it. They're just using all the extra power that's not used for all of these operations. Yeah, that's a load. That's a nice line. That's a nice line right there. That's what we're all doing too, right? We're just using the excess energy that no one else wants to use, right? That's one way to put it. Anyway, guys, thank you for checking out this video. What are your thoughts and opinions on Mara, on them dumping all this? Obviously, it makes sense. They got to cover their bills and stuff, but their main transition is focusing into AI, like I stated in my previous video that I released earlier. So check that one out if you haven't yet, guys. But share this video around, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest news in the crypto mining market. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.